For a moment, it stood eyeing the man dangling in its path. Tarzan remained very quiet. He did not wish to frighten it away, for he realized that one of them must be the prey of the carnivore sneaking upon them. But if he expected the thag to be frightened, he soon realized his error in judgment, for uttering low grumblings, the great bull pawed the earth with a front foot, and then, lowering his massive horns, gored it angrily, and the ape-man knew that he was working his short temper up to a charging pitch. Nor did it seem that this was to take long, for already he was advancing menacingly to the accompaniment of thunderous bellowing. His tail was up and his head down as he broke into the trot that preluded the charge. The ape-man realized that if he was ever struck by those massive horns or that heavy head, his skull would be crushed like an eggshell. The dizzy spinning that had been caused by the first stretching of the rawhide to his weight had lessened to a gentle turning motion, so that sometimes he faced the thag and sometimes in the opposite direction. The utter helplessness of his position galled the ape-man and gave him more concern than any consideration of impending death. From childhood he had walked hand in hand with the Grim Reaper, and he had looked upon death in so many forms that it held no terror for him. He knew that it was the final experience of all created things, that it must as inevitably come to him as to others, and while he loved life and did not wish to die, its mere approach induced within him no futile hysteria. But to die without a chance to fight for life was not such an end as Tarzan of the Apes would have chosen. And now, as his body slowly revolved and his eyes were turned away from the charging thag, his heart sank at the thought that he was not even to be vouchsafed the meager satisfaction of meeting death face to face. In the brief instant that he waited for the impact, the air was rent by as horrid a scream as had ever broken upon the ears of the ape-man, and the bellowing of the bull rose suddenly to a higher pitch and mingled with that other awesome sound. Once more the dangling body of the ape-man revolved, and his eyes fell upon such a scene as had not been vouchsafed to men of the outer world for countless ages. Upon the massive shoulders and neck of the great thag clung a tiger of such huge proportions that Tarzan could scarce credit the testimony of his own eyes. Great saber-like tusks projecting from the upper jaw were buried deep into the neck of the bull, which, instead of trying to escape, had stopped in its tracks and was endeavoring to dislodge the great beast of prey, swinging its huge horns backward in an attempt to rake the living death from its shoulders, or again shaking its whole body violently for the same purpose, and all the while bellowing in pain and rage. Gradually, the saber-tooth changed its position until it had attained a hold suited to its purpose. Then, with lightning-like swiftness, it swung back a great forearm and delivered a single terrific blow on the side of the thag's head. A titanic blow that crushed that mighty skull and dropped the huge bull dead in its tracks. And then the carnivore settled down to feast upon its kill. During the battle, the saber-tooth had not noticed the ape-man, nor was it until after he had commenced to feed upon the thag that his eye was attracted by the revolving body swinging above the trail a few yards away. Instantly, the beast stopped feeding. His head lowered and flattened, his upper lip turned back in a hideous snarl. He watched the ape-man. Low, menacing growls rumbled from his cavernous throat. His long, sinuous tail lashed angrily as slowly he arose from the body of his kill and advanced toward Tarzan of the Apes.